Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Over the past week, I've been on a business trip visiting a Japanese automaker. If you browsed my previous videos, you may understand that I work in the automotive industry and my company supplies our components to Japanese OEMs. But not only for the Japanese domestic market, but also for customers in the US and Europe. With the US rolling out another wave of tariff, of course, we are paying close attention and we have to pay closer attention. Honestly, this is not the first time we've dealt with this kind of pressure. When the US imposed additional tariff on Mexico a year ago, we were already on a very high alert internally. Since we have factories in Mexico and we started calculating whether we could absorb the cost internally. If not, we have to consider shifting shipments to another overseas manufacturing plants and offering a new quotations to our clients. But this time, Trump's proposed tariffs are on a whole different level, over 100, even up to 145%. At first, I was a little bit anxious, tense, or even a little bit panicked. But gradually that feeling turned into resignation. Because honestly, whether it's 145% or 1000%, the outcome is same. Chinese-made products are basically priced out of the US market. There's no way we can stay competitive at that level. As Tier 1 suppliers, and we may avoid quoting from Chinese factories for new projects. Instead, we use our plants in Mexico or Southeast Asia to try and soften the impact. But let's be real, it's not the short-term solution. Yes, and moving productions outside of China helps dodge the Made in China label and sidesteps the direct hit from the US tariffs. But it's a tactical workaround, it's not a strategic transformation. It comes with serious issues. So first, you cannot replicate China's cost advantage overseas. Surely Mexico and Southeast Asia offer lower tariffs, but labor costs, infrastructure management, and supply chain maturity all fall short. And on top of that, new factories need time to ramp up capacity and the qualities may not be stable. That leads to shrinking profits or even losses. Second, customers are not cruelies, and OEMs look at countries of origins, but they also care about your ownership. Even if you are producing in Southeast Asia and if they know your parent company is Chinese, they may still consider your geopolitical risk. The truth is, with Trump back in the game and global uncertainty is only going to increase. Today, it's the US hitting China with tariffs. Tomorrow, the EU might set up their own technical barriers. You dodge one wall only to hit another. Simply shifting where you produce won't solve the bigger issue. Overseas factories are a defensive move. They buy you time, but they can't help you win the game. So, I think Chinese companies going global need to start exploring other approaches. For example, negotiating with clients to share some of the tariff costs, or offering long-term supply contracts in exchange for price flexibility. We've also looked into redesigning our cost structure and sourcing materials locally or doing partial assembly abroad to lower the taxable value. In the past, Chinese products gained global market shares through cost and speed, but with tariffs easing that advantage, maybe this is a moment to start moving up the value chain. If we cannot win on price, let's win on the technology, quality, and innovation. For example, in developing lighter, greener, and smarter components that are harder to replace. This helps boost our bargaining power, and clients value that. At the end of the day, stability in supply and consistent quality matters more than saving a few bucks. What car makers feel most is late delivery or unstable quality. That's what really disrupts production. And then there is market diversification, and our dependence on the US market isn't what it used to be. China's total direct and indirect export to the US are about 4 trillion renminbi, just around 2% of China's total GDP. So even in the worst case scenario, the direct economic impact is manageable. In fact, China has already been diversifying its markets and industries for years. The auto industry is different. Of course, the US is a key market you cannot easily ignore. But if you are a Chinese supplier going global, it's worth actively expanding into Europe, Southeast Asia, and Mid East, South Africa, and also Brazil. To be honest, as someone working abroad for a Chinese company, my mindset also shifted. I try to stay cautious, but I no longer count on stability. These days, stability is a luxury, and the only way to survive is to stay flexible and adapt quickly. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.